if you take a tax bill as an example, here's someone whose tax bill in 2003 was a total of $8,500. In 2005, that tax bill goes to $9,800. The portion that we are in control of at the municipal level is this piece up on the top line. So the part of that tax bill that has increased, to the extent that the municipal government can control that tax, we're looking at, in the case of this particular tax bill, $134 increase. That's an 8% increase. So when people get their tax bills and have a heart attack upon looking at their tax bills and say that their the taxes have gone up 25%, well, the municipal portion of that from 2003 to 2005 is actually an increase of only 8%. So although this tax bill overall increased 15%, because it went from $8,500 to $9,800. In this particular case, some more, some less. That's a 15% increase. This $1,312 is a 15% increase overall. But the part that we are responsible for as a municipality is this $134 or 8% increase. And in many cases, the increase is even less than that. So that's the first point I'd like to make. There are three items that I'm going to address this evening. The first is the extent to which the municipality has an impact on your real estate taxes. The second is assessments, and the third is school taxes. What is the impact of assessments? I must say I have to differ with Mr. Hobbs on a couple of counts. One is his comment with reference to spending, and that it's based on spending, and I believe he said that more than once. I beg to differ.
The issue of taxes collected is based on spending. Spending by the county, spending by the fire district, spending by the Board of Education, spending by us. That's what generates taxes.
Okay, so the question is, and you may not have an answer for it, but the question is that I hear most often from residents is that we are a growing town, we have more and more homes being built every day. I don't understand why these property taxes never go down. And you may not have an answer, no. So I'm just asking.
The answer is
perhaps you do have an answer.
It's based on spending. Taxes are driven by spending.
What I did in this analysis was to take the increase from 2003 to 2005. And I said, in this township, I believe we have documentation that will verify that homes have increased in value about 15% a year. So we're looking at an increase in the value of homes from 2003 to 2005 of about 30%. That seems to be a bit much. I'm not a realtor, but I don't know that if I purchased my home in 2003 for $100,000 that I can sell it in 2005 for $130,000. But maybe I'm wrong. However, what I did was this. Our assessments in 2003 were $5.7 billion. And at this point, I didn't know exactly how many units we had in the township. But I estimated that we had about 20,000 homes. So on the average, a home would have a value of $288,000, an assessed value of $288,000. So I said, let's increase three things. Let's increase spending, because spending is always going to increase. If you have more homes in the township, you have to spend more. You have more roads, you need more police, you have to service those roads, you have public works costs that are involved. To think that you're not going to spend more is unrealistic. That's like saying, I have a family of one. My spouse and I just had twins. Our costs are not going to go up. So if you have growth, you have to have more spending. But the question is, if I have more over which to spread that, then the cost for each of us perhaps can go down. So I said a reasonable 10% increase in three things: increase in spending, increase in the assessment, increase in the number of homes. So we added then 10% more homes. We added 2,000 more homes. If we added an assessed value of $300,000 for each of those 2,000 homes, we'd have an additional $600 million added to the assessment. We'd have a new assessed value in total of $6.3 billion. We'll take that and divide that by 22,000 homes. We get a new assessed value, and that's fine. And a lot of the detail perhaps is a bit much, but I'm just trying to explain a little bit of the background. The point is this. I increased our spending from 2003 to 2005 by about 10%. So we went from 23 million in 2003 of assessed tax levy to 25 million. We divide that by the new assessment, we get a rate of 0.4. So the rate goes down. And as we all know by now, just because the rate goes down, that does not necessarily mean that we're going to pay less in taxes. However, the comment that spending drives this is not necessarily always true. If we take this 2003, 288,000 of assessed value from here, the 2003 rate was 0.42. So this particular home paid $1,260 in municipal taxes. Well, we increased spending 10%, we increased the number of homes 10%, and we increased the assessed valuation 10%. A nice slow 10%, not a whopping 30% increase in assessed valuations. And if we do that, our taxes go down. So we just spent 10% more, and the municipal taxes went down. So the theory that spending, increased spending, causes us to pay more in taxes is not true. You can have a situation where you have increased spending, and the reason that your taxes are going down is because it's being shared among the greater number of homes. So the conclusion then is that even though you have a 10% increase in the budget, it's the assessments that is adversely affecting our taxpayers. In fact, if we look at 2002, 2004, and 2005, you may be wondering why 2003 is not in there. I asked Mr. Hobbs for his last 6 years of information, and there were some gaps in the information that I was provided. So this is what I could provide you with. The residential piece in 2002 was $3.5 billion, or 69% of the total valuation. So there are other pieces in this total valuation. There's agriculture, there are businesses, et cetera, et cetera. But this is the total pie. In 2004, residences now are responsible for 71% of the assessment, and in 2005, it's 74%. So residential units are being allocated a bigger piece of the pie as time goes on. So naturally, if residential units are going to be allocated a bigger piece of the assessment pie, you're going to be paying a bigger piece of the tax, of the tax levy.